Let's talk a little about the idea of manipulation and control when you are coming from a codependent space. I have gotten a lot of responses. Ooh, forgive my nose pad marks. I've gotten a lot of responses, some of them very upset and very defensive around my usage of the terms manipulation and control when I am referring to codependent behaviors. And I want to spend a minute talking about the difference between intent and action, right? We can forgive people because we are able to separate the person from the action, right? A lot of times when we find a place of forgiveness for somebody who has hurt us or wronged us in some way, it's not that we are excusing the behavior, right? We're not justifying the behavior. We're not saying the behavior or whatever the action was that they took is okay. But usually the forgiveness comes from understanding that that person's intent was not to harm, that that person loves us, right? That they made a mistake or they acted from a place of fear or self-protection or defense, right? It's the same thing with the idea of codependents acting with manipulation and control. It's not that the intent necessarily is negative or is one of malice, right? But the actions are still manipulative and they're still controlling. Now, a lot of people have made comments, again, defensive comments, comments of being very upset or very offended by some of the language that I have used around codependent recovery, accepting codependent behaviors for what they are, understanding potentially that part of self. And the defense that I'm getting is very common. And it's something I actually talk to people a lot about. And usually my response to that is, anytime something that somebody says or does triggers that kind of defensive reaction in us, it almost always is an opportunity to look inward. Because usually when we are activated in some way by somebody else and what they've said or what they've done, it's usually a mirror into something within ourselves, within our own shadow, that actually needs to be looked at and examined. This is not about victim blaming, okay? I am a very, very clear-cut, don't beat around the bush kind of person when it comes to codependency and codependency recovery. As somebody who myself struggles with codependent recovery, I don't need someone to coddle me. I need somebody to be real with me. And if that approach is not for you and you want a more gentle, soft approach, that's also totally fine, but then I'm not your girl.